Welcome! I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today because we are diving into an incredibly heartwarming, just beautifully crafted children's book. It's called The Pumpkin Who Didn't Want to Be Scary, written by Rudra Vayum and published by Doodle Zen Press. Right away, this story takes everything we normally expect about, well, a certain spooky holiday and just flips it completely on its head. So get comfortable because this explainer is going to take us through a really fascinating narrative about finding your own unique way to shine.
Let's kick things off with a pretty fundamental question. Does Halloween always have to be scary? That premise right there immediately hooks us into the central conflict of this whole story. We're transported to the quiet, honestly kind of magical autumn town of Willowbrook. Every year, this bustling pumpkin patch comes alive. You've got families wandering the rows, pulling little wagons, sipping from cider mugs, the whole 9 yards. But beneath the surface of that charming tradition, there's actually a super intense expectation, and that sets the stage for a really unique Halloween tale.
Moving into Section 1, The Outcast Pumpkin, a different kind of Halloween.
Right from the jump, the author sets up this brilliant visual contrast. Out in the Willowbrook patch, these pumpkins face immense peer pressure, like literal peer pressure, to be absolutely terrifying. You've got Gordo, who's proudly showing off this massive size, just perfect for a scary dragon face. Then there's Luma, boasting these elegant, flawless ridges, destined to be a spooky witch, and little Spud, sporting this lopsided, crooked grin. But hidden way out in the tall grass at the back of the patch, we find our protagonist, Pixi. She doesn't have deep grooves or some menacing shape. Instead, she's got these adorable freckles dotted across her skin like tiny stars, and a curly vine that bounces around like a playful ribbon. It's a contrast that hits the nail on the head, showing exactly why Pixi feels like such a total outcast among her peers. While everyone else is busy practicing their terrifying triangle eyes and jagged grins, Pixi just kind of lowers her vine. And that brings us to Pixi's core desire. She says, I don't want to make children scream. I want to make them laugh and smile. It's sweet, right? Well, the other pumpkins actually laugh at her for this. Gordo booms out that pumpkins are supposed to be scary, and Luma insists it's just tradition. So because she refuses to practice those jagged, toothy mouths, the busiest day in the patch arrives, literally the day before Halloween, and Pixi is left completely alone. While Gordo, Luma, and Spud are eagerly scooped up by children who want to carve monsters and witches, the farmer just closes the gate at the end of the day. Pixi is left small, forgotten, and unpicked in the dark. That brings us to Section 2, The Midnight Guests, a magical turning point. So we're brought to this very melancholy, almost cinematic scene. The dark patch is completely swallowed by night, and Pixi is feeling lonelier than ever. But then the full moon rises. It drapes the field in this silver light, and suddenly we hear it rustle, a swish, and a pet-pat among the cornstalks. Out of the shadows step 3 totally unexpected visitors. At midnight, we meet Lumo, a sleek black cat with emerald eyes glowing like lanterns. Seconds later, Kiko appears, a small ghost floating as lightly as a feather, with these endearing, uneven eye holes. And finally, moments after that, Rattle steps up. He's a tall skeleton with creaking bones, but he's got this remarkably warm and kind smile. They introduce themselves as the Midnight Guests. They're these magical mentors who visit every Halloween specifically to share magic with the pumpkins who need it the most.
When Pixi confesses to them that no one wanted her because she just isn't scary enough, Rattle offers some truly profound wisdom. He says, not every pumpkin has to be scary. Halloween is about more than fear. It's about fun, adventure, and kindness too. I mean, wow, that perfectly anchors the thematic shift of our explainer. It completely validates Pixi's deepest feelings and actually sets her off on her true hero's journey. With a quick, mischievous grin from Lumo the cat, they promise Pixi that tonight she's going to discover exactly what makes her truly special.
Moving to Section 3, Lighting the Dark, The Midnight Journey. The Midnight Guests literally carry Pixi right out of the patch. Lumo leaps gracefully ahead, Kiko floats along, and Rattle carefully balances Pixi in his arms. And guys, for the very first time, Pixi actually gets to see the joyful, trick-or-treating side of Willowbrook. She sees the glowing orange lights, the overflowing candy buckets, and kids dressed up as superheroes and princesses. Pixi embarks on this incredible geographic and emotional journey through the town with 3 crucial stops: the house on Maple Street, the Park of Shadows, and finally, Trouble on Elm Lane. Mapping this out really brilliantly illustrates how she discovers her unique purpose step by step. Okay, let's look at that first stop on Maple Street. There's this dark, creaky old house there that kids usually avoid. Well, A small girl is standing at the gate, clutching her candy bag, and she is absolutely terrified because she lost her flashlight and the path is just way too dark. Pixie shyly suggests that, maybe she can glow. Rattle chuckles at this, noting that every pumpkin holds a light inside. He places a candle inside her, and suddenly Pixie's star freckles sparkle like constellations. Her glow is just so warm and cheerful. The little girl is instantly comforted, calling Pixie the happiest pumpkin she's ever seen, and she bravely walks home, safe and sound, waving from her porch.
And that brings us to a really powerful definition, drawn straight from Pixie's first emotional victory. Inner light, the ability to provide comfort, guidance, and joy to those navigating the dark. See, Pixie didn't need some terrifying jagged smile to be a successful Halloween pumpkin. Her light served as this incredibly powerful tool for comfort. The journey continues to the second stop, which is the Park of Shadows. Over here, children are running around playing tag under the lanterns, but there's one boy sitting all alone on a bench, crying. He's dressed up in a robot costume, but his lights have completely broken, and he feels like he just looks silly compared to everyone else. Pixie, now realizing her newfound gift, asks to share her golden light. Rattle gently takes Pixie and places her right inside the boy's candy bucket. Instantly, her golden light spreads all through that robot costume, making the whole thing sparkle. Let's pause for a second and really reflect on this quote. Her glow didn't just light paths, it lit up hearts. The other kids in the park gasp when they see him, instantly declaring it the coolest robot ever. And just like that, the boy's sadness turns into laughter as he runs off to join the game. This is a massive, profound realization for Pixie. She isn't scaring people, she's actively bringing joy to others. Next up is Section 4, Revealing the Truth. Trouble on Elm Lane. Okay, let's dive into this next phase because this is where the narrative tension really starts to build. The group heads back out and encounters a bunch of terrified children huddled together on Elm Lane. They've actually dropped their candy because they are 100% convinced there is a growling monster hiding in the dark bushes. First, Lumo the cat bravely creeps forward, tail flicking, to investigate the sounds. Then Pixie's warm light gently spreads over those dark, scary bushes. And what does the light actually reveal? Well, it's not a monster at all. It's a tiny, whimpering black puppy. The kids immediately giggle with relief, and a family scoops the puppy up to adopt it that very night. This scene just brilliantly illustrates how Pixie's light diffuses the neighborhood panic. And right here, Rattle delivers another deeply poignant lesson, gently patting Pixie's side. He says, "Light shows the truth. Fear lives in shadows, but kindness reveals what's really there." That perfectly encapsulates Pixie's realization. The shadows made the puppy seem terrifying, but her kind light revealed the harmless truth. Her true magic isn't about instilling fear at all. It's about bringing joy, safety, and clarity. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, A New Halloween Legend, A Pumpkin's Place. We bring this whole cinematic journey back to dawn. Pixie is sitting by the farmer's gate, but she's definitely no longer the small, forgotten pumpkin hiding in the tall grass. She is transformed. She's confident. She's glowing faintly in the morning sun, her freckles sparking like starlight. And then we get this incredibly heartwarming moment. A family with 2 children walks by, spots the smiling pumpkin, and they just gasp. They specifically choose Pixie because her happy glow makes her absolutely unforgettable. They take her home to sit proudly on their porch. But Pixie's legacy goes way beyond just one Halloween night. She actually becomes a legendary symbol of courage and kindness in Willowbrook. She sits right there on that porch, not scaring anyone, but bringing smiles to every passing child. Year after year, the children remember the pumpkin who didn't want to be scary. In fact, it completely changes the town's tradition. Now families actively wander the patch, searching for pumpkins with freckles, hoping to find one just like her. And as for the midnight guests, well, every Halloween, as they wander through Willowbrook, they smile whenever they see her warm, special glow. The book leaves us with this incredibly beautiful closing mantra from the author. Some pumpkins shine brightest, not in the patch, but in the hearts of those who believe in magic. It just perfectly wraps up the core message. It isn't about fitting into the traditional mold, or being the loudest, or even the scariest. It's really about having the courage to shine in your own special way. And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. So, I want to leave you with a final, kind of provocative thought to chew on. Looking at Pixie's journey, going from a total outcast in the patch to a beloved legend who brought comfort and joy, how can you choose kindness and shine your own unique light in the world? What shadows can your inner light help reveal? Thank you so much for hanging out with me to explore this wonderful story, and I really hope you carry a little bit of Pixie's magic with you today.
The Pumpkin Who Didn't Want to Be Scary by Rudra Vayum. Available on Amazon.